Hello, everyone. Welcome to part one of the CAD/CAM series using Fusion 360. Today, we'll be learning how to design and do the toolpath for a sign, and we can cut this out on the CNC router. Here's an example. So we'll be learning how to design the sign, cut it out. We can engrave the text using a V-bit. Cut the outline with an end mill. And then put a bevel or chamfer around the edge. So this is Fusion 360. It's a 3D design program. It is low cost for hobbyists and makers. I recommend it. So download and log in with your Autodesk account. We're going to open up a new design. You'll see there's a white window. There's tabs at the top, similar to Google Chrome. Make sure you're in the design module up here. And let's get started. We're going to create a new sketch. The first button over in the toolbar. You'll see there's 3 orange squares. This is asking us where do we want to place our sketch. Doesn't really matter for this project, but I'm going to put it on the table. So let's draw a rectangle. So go to the second option. We're in sketch mode right now. You'll see there's a green check mark and a sketch options palette. So we're in sketch mode. We're going to create a rectangle, drop 1 point at the origin, move the mouse, don't click yet, click again in the top right to drop the other point. Hit escape on the keyboard, go to the dimension tool, or hit D on the keyboard. We're going to click once, click again. To drop the dimension, type in 24, enter. And let's dimension the left side, click once, click twice, 6. I'm able to pan the window around using this hand tool down here or using keyboard shortcuts, depending on how yours is set up. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's say finish sketch. I like to rotate the design slightly for helping the next step. So we're going to go to extrude, which is the second item in the toolbar. You'll notice we're not in sketch mode anymore. We're back into the main mode. So click extrude. The program pre-selected this region for us in blue. Now you can either grab this arrow with the mouse, or you can type in a number, say 0.75, enter. And now we have our first extrude. Now we're going to draw text on the top surface. So I like to pre-select the top surface, go to sketch. This is going to enter sketch mode on the top surface. So let's create our text. I don't see any text in the toolbar, but it's packed away in this other menu. There's a few sub menus in here. So go to create text. I'm going to drop 2 points around the border where the text is going to live inside. So now I'm typing. Click here. I can type my text. It's very small. So I'm going to go to my font, choose one I like. You can also add fonts to your Windows system fonts folder. I'm not sure how to do it on Mac. I have a custom font here. Increase the height, align and center a little bit taller. Too tall. It's pretty good. Got one more. It's pretty good. And this is all good and well. One thing that helps is you can trace this text. So we're still in sketch mode. If you right click on the text and say explode text, it'll trace it out. And this helps with the toolpath later on. So I'm done with the text. I'm gonna say finish. I'm gonna go to my feature tree on the left and rename my sketches. Main sketch, enter. Whoops. Text sketch, enter. And feel free to save this into one of your projects. So now we're ready to go to the toolpath side. We were in the design module. Now we're going to go to manufacturer module. This is where you do your toolpath. So there's no toolpath in here. First, we're going to start with a setup. So a setup is anytime you clamp down your workpiece to the table and you take cuts. If you were to flip the piece and cut on the backside, you would have two setups. Because we're only cutting from the top, we're only going to do one setup. So you can either click new setup here or right click new setup on the tree. It's going to pop up a stock window. So we're going to select the origin or the triad. I like to select Z and X axis. Z is going to be the top face or the bottom face just to get the orientation. And I could select the X axis and do it this way. And then you can change where you want your origin to be. You can either say stock box point or model box. Because they're both rectangles, it doesn't really matter in this case. I'm going to say stock box. Click on the stock point and you'll see these white dots appear. I can move the origin around. Some people like it in the bottom corner. Some people like it on the bed of the router. For this project, I'm going to put on the top surface and in the middle of my workpiece. You can put it wherever you want. You just have to keep track of it when you're at the machine, at the Shopbot. And you have to align these arrows to the Shopbot axes. Next, we're going to go to the stock tab. The mode, it's going to be relative size box off our model. You could put circle if you want. You can have from solid if you draw your stock. Do relatively sized box, stock top, additional top 0. Sorry. Actually gonna add 1 inch on the sides and the top and bottom 0. It's gonna be 0.75. And you'll see it calculates our stock. X is 26 inch, Y is 8 inch, Z is 0.75 inch. Looks good. So now we have a setup with no toolpath. In this video, I'm going to make it easier. Instead of drawing all the toolpath from scratch, I'm going to copy it from another part. This is going to speed things up and allow you to use pre-written toolpath, which does work. So I'm going to go to this sign example that I made previously. You can either copy the whole setup or copy toolpath individually. I'm going to copy toolpath individually. So I highlight these three, copy, come to my part, right click, paste. It's going to give us a warning that the references are lost. That's okay. We'll fix those. All right, so now we have our toolpath inserted. Now we need to refresh and reselect references. So I'm going to edit the VBit toolpath. Here's where you select the tool. It's a 1/2 inch 90-degree VBit. You can select it here, go to your tool library. I like to use the cloud library because it's going to save your tools in Fusion whether you go from one computer to another. You can save it locally on your computer, but I don't recommend it. So I have my own cloud library here. Select my VBit. If it's not in there, you can add a tool by coming up here and adding the tool. So we have our feeds and speeds pre-written. I'm not gonna go into detail here. This is another video, but for wood, you can be fairly aggressive. We're gonna cut at 50 inch per minute. The spindle speed is gonna be dictated on the spindle control at Maker Nexus. It's not controlled with Fusion. Feet per tooth, we're taking a 5 thou cut for each tooth of the end mill. So this is important. The next tab, we're going to go to geometry and select the text that we want to engrave with the VBit. This toolpath is going to cut inside the lines. If you want to trace on the line itself, there's another toolpath called trace, which you would use. This one we're using engrave. In our heights, we're going to start at top height is going to be model top, bottom height. Because this is a 1/2 inch 90-degree VBit, we can go half the diameter, so 1/4 inch. We're going to have our feed height above our part, retract above the feed, clearance above the retract height. Don't really have to worry about these other tabs right now. Say okay. It's going to generate, looks good. We got a green check. So let's update the contour. This toolpath, we're using a 3/8 end mill. I'm going to reselect the geometry. I like to click the bottom contour. This will come into play later. You'll see there's a red arrow. We can flip onto which side of the line it's cutting. This is important. You want to make sure you're on the outside of the cut so you don't cut into your part. And in this case, we're using tabs to keep our stock from flying around. You can either go by distance or by points. I like to do by points, and you can manually drop in where you want the tabs to go. More tabs is better. You can always cut them off. These are going to be 3/8 wide by 0.1 tall. Looks pretty good. Heights. I'm reorientating by clicking on this view cube up here. Again, we're going to start at the top of the model and cut all the way down to the model bottom. And we're going to go a little bit deeper, minus 0.020 thou. We're not going to take this in one pass. We're going to do it multiple passes. So in this next tab, we're gonna go multiple depths, 0.3 step down in Z each time. We're not leaving any stock. Looks pretty good. Don't really have to worry about linking for lead ins and lead outs as a beginner. And so that looks good. You'll see these blue lines are the toolpath. There's 3 step downs, and it's going to jog up around the tabs. The yellow lines are the lead in and lead outs. It's going to drop in, come up each time. These green arcs are the where it's going to arc onto the part and arc off for each cut. Looks pretty good. And finally, I'm going to do a 2D chamfer. This is using a chamfer bit, or you can use a V bit. I'm going to go to geometry. This time I'm going to select the top contour. Heights. Say stock top to select the contours. And the chamfer dimensions, it's going to be 20 thou wide. It's a 45 degree by 45 degree chamfer. So the width is the same as the side to side dimension. It's going to have an offset to not cut on the tip of the tool and give some clearance around other features. Looks pretty good. So that did not work. Why did that not work? Let's try a little bigger. Okay, so I figured out what was wrong for the 2D chamfer. On the contour selection, this red arrow is on the wrong side. So we're trying to chamfer the edge from internal to part, which is not going to work. So you're going to flip that red arrow, make sure it's on the outer portion. Heights, stock top to contour. Passes, same numbers as before. So now that goes. So our 3 toolpaths have been generated. It's a good idea to simulate these. You can simulate each toolpath by itself or the whole setup. I'm going to highlight the whole setup. Come to simulate. I like to hide my stock. So either turn off the model here or the bodies here. And say play. Speed up just a tad. It's looking good. It's cutting out the engraving with the V-bit. Doing the outer contour. In 3 passes, now it's doing the chamfer. Slight bevel on the edge, looks good. If you look from the top, we can see the tabs are still holding it in place. Looks good. One caution is to take your simulation seriously. If you see any problems here, don't ignore them. They're going to come up when you're cutting your part. Sometimes you'll see a warning if the tool digs into your part too fast. It'll be called a rapid collision with part. So you can slow down your plunge rate. Looks good. I'm going to exit the simulation, turn on my model again. So now we're ready to post out our G code. You can post out each toolpath individually or them all in one block if you have the capabilities in your Fusion. I'm going to post them individually. So we'll highlight the engraving, go to post process, select the Shopbot, open SBP post. If you don't see it here, go to the folder icon, search for Shopbot, and it'll come down here. I like the open SBP. Give it a name and save it to the folder of your choice. And here's what the G code is going to look like. Looks pretty good. So go ahead and save out all those toolpaths. And that's the end of this video. Thank you.